welcome. Today we'll be making carne en su jugo. This is a very famous Dia de los Muertos dish, and it means meat in its own juice. So it's kind of a soup, kind of a stew. I think you'll love it, and I think you'll enjoy making it. It's not too complicated, but it is very delicious. So we're gonna start with some bacon. I have here a ½ pound of bacon. It's the thick cut kind. I'm going to dice it up tiny so that we'll be able to cook it up quick and then remove it and use the bacon grease to cook the next meat. So here we go. So our bacon's all cut up and ready to cook. Next we're going to go to our meat. This is round steak. It's chopped round and it's thinly sliced. It's 1.5 pounds and that's how much you need. So open her up, we're gonna dice it really small. And that's why you want it to be thinly sliced. It makes it easier to dice it up small. So I've got my meat all cut up. It's in small cubes, about that size. That's what you want. As you're cutting, if you come across fat or silver skin, you're gonna wanna trim that off and get rid of it. You want this to be as lean and as clean as possible because that makes it taste better. So next we're gonna make the marinade. The marinade's pretty simple. Starts with a lime. We're gonna juice this lime. So luckily I got one with no seeds. Living right today. Squeeze it into my cup. And then the other half. And then a tablespoon each of Worcestershire sauce and soy sauce. This is going to add a lot of flavor to this meat and add a lot of flavor to our broth too. And about a tablespoon of salt. No, a teaspoon of salt. Sorry about that. And about a ½ teaspoon of black pepper. And let's whisk it together. Pour it over our meat. And then we'll just do a little bit of mixing up. We're gonna let this sit for an hour if we have the time. If we don't have the time, give it as much time as you can. But I'm gonna let it sit for an hour. I'm gonna mix it up every now and then just to be sure it stays mixing good. So the next thing we'll deal with is our broth. All right, so we're gonna start on our broth. First thing we do, we got our bacon that we have diced up. This is about a ½ pound of bacon, as you remember. So we're gonna fry it up nice and then take it out and leave the bacon grease behind to start our broth. So here we go. Ah, listen to that sizzle. So our bacon is all nice and crispy. I'm gonna get it out of here with a slotted spoon so I can leave behind the bacon grease. I've got a little paper towel in my dish just to keep it all crispy. Now I've got my marinated meat. The meat and whatever marinade's in there are going in. Watch out, it's gonna steam. Just gonna cook it up till it gets browned up nice. It does not have to be fully cooked because it's going to simmer in a broth. All right, the next step is to get ready for our broth. That meat's cooking on the stove. Oh my gosh, it smells delicious. You're gonna love it. So I have here 2 serrano peppers. I'm gonna clean them and then dice them up little. Now you know with hot chili peppers, you gotta be careful. Once they've touched your hands, do not touch your eyes, your nose, or your mouth until you have washed your hands with soap. So I'm gonna be really careful. Here we go. Cut off those 2 ends. And then slice them open and get out the seeds and the white membranes. Those just aren't as good. Not a little spicy though, I'll tell you that. gonna go in a food processor with some liquids. We don't have to mince them up tiny, just give them kind of a rough chop. Once you got them all clean, it's gonna be so good. And into the little food processor it's gonna go, along with a 16-ounce jar of salsa verde. This is great. It's mostly tomatillas, and there's some garlic and onion in it, so this is why we don't have garlic and onions in our recipe. This is gonna go in with these. It's gonna be part of our broth. Boy, it's gonna be amazing. Our next ingredient is cilantro. We need about a half a cup of the cilantro leaves. Don't have to be too particular about this. A few little stems are not a big deal, but we don't want a lot of stems. So I'm just pulling them off roughly. If you have an herb stripper, that really helps pull them off good, but I'm just doing my best with my fingers here. Works out great. About a half a cup. Pack it down, be sure you're getting plenty. It's almost like there's not too much cilantro in the world, except if you hate it, then there's too much. So here's my cilantro leaves, about a half cup. I'm just gonna put them in this blender along with the others. Oh my gosh, look at that. There's a stem. I'm gonna get rid of that. And then one last thing, about a cup of beef broth. So here's my little half cup. Here's my beef broth. I'm gonna just do it like this. It doesn't have to be real exact. Now we're gonna process this in the food processor to make a nice smooth mixture. It's gonna be really noisy. All right, we've got our meat. It's been cooking about 10 minutes, 5 or 10 minutes is usually plenty. And we have our blended up mixture of salsa verde, beef broth, serrano peppers, and cilantro. We're gonna pour this on here. So much flavor in that. We also have another 3 cups of beef broth that we're gonna put in. And we're gonna bring this up to a boil, then put a lid on it and simmer it for about 30 or 40 minutes. We'll see. The meat needs to be tender. So our soup or our stew is cooking, and now's a good time to get together the other ingredients, which we're gonna make it serving it really go quick and easy. We have cilantro, and we're gonna chop that up. So we gotta pull off the leaves again. This time maybe be a little more careful to avoid stems. After that, we will cut the limes into wedges, and we'll cut a few radishes into some matchsticks. And so that's what we'll be doing. The other ingredients that are gonna get added, we have some pinto beans that I cooked this morning, and then we have our crispy bacon as well. So I'll see you back here when we got all the ingredients ready and the soup is done cooking. So this cilantro, I've pulled off all the leaves, and now I'm gonna just chop them up. The easiest way is gather it up into a nice little mass. Be really careful, don't cut your fingers. And then just start cutting this bunch. Works pretty good. It's never as perfect as you want, but it's good enough. You just don't want big giant hunks of cilantro. It smells so fragrant and nice. And then I'm gonna put it in a little bowl so it's ready for when we serve our carne en su jugo. Next thing we've got is we need to have some lime wedges. So I'm gonna cut up these limes into wedges. Ah, look at that, a little sticker. All right, I cut off those fat ends because I don't think we need them. And then we'll cut each one into, I think 4 will do. These are kind of small. Put them in a bowl too. Yummy. We're gonna do avocado, but I'll do that for last. You don't want avocado sitting around too long. Also, we're gonna do some radishes. These are gonna be cut into little matchstick pieces. It doesn't take very many, maybe 4 or 5. Cut off those icky ends. These are really nice radishes. They're already washed and ready to go. I like that a lot. Cut them into some thin slices. And then cut those slices into some different way, thin slices, little matchsticks. Peel our avocado and then cut it into some chunks. It's going to be a great addition to our carne en su jugo. A nice, rich element, creamy and smooth. A nice balance to the bitterness, saltiness, citrusiness, and spiciness of our soup. I'm just going to do chunks. No need to be fancy. So the soup part of this is ready. Can't wait to try it. Here's how we're gonna start. Here's our serving bowl that we're gonna eat out of. These are pinto beans. I warmed them up. We're gonna have a couple spoonfuls of pinto beans in the bottom of our bowl. And then a nice ladleful, really 2 ladlefuls. You want about a cup of the meat and the broth. Yummy. All right, I'm gonna add some toppings to this. Let's start with some radishes, also fresh. They're gonna be great in this. Maybe a little more. And of course, some cilantro, just love it so much. And a little bit of bacon. It'll be crispy and salty. Nice. About some cheese. Oh yeah, why not? And some sour cream. That'll make it all nice. Oh, and some avocado, gotta have that. It'll be creamy, it'll be rich. Finally, I'm gonna squeeze a lime wedge on there. I just love lime. So here we go. Boy, that smells amazing. And look at that, carne en su jugo. Oh, I cannot wait to taste it. I am so excited. So I've made carne en su jugo. I'm so excited to try this. It's just gonna be delicious. Everything smells great. Every little part of it is just amazing. All these lovely flavors of Mexico that we're able to do in our kitchens everywhere because we have great grocery stores. All right, I'm ready to try it. Here we go. Try to get a bite of everything. A little bit of avocado, some meat, that nice broth. Oh, you guys, you've got to make this. It is so, so good. It's like a party in my mouth. Amazing. I've got my tortilla. I've got my carne en su jugo. I'm having a great time. Thanks for watching.